Men have got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up. And throughout the world today.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Jesse. My biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy, my biblical question. What is your state of mind? What is your state of mind? Amazing. You ever think about that? What is my state of mind? I can imagine most people don't think about it. Some do. But know thyself. What is your state of mind? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. It's amazing. And don't forget, you can, if you're out and about traveling or whatever you might be doing anywhere in the world, around the world, or if you're a flat earther up and down the world, you can listen, you can podcast the show, but you can listen while you're still busy by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on rumble.com and JLP Talk on Twitter. Rumble.com and JLP Talk on Twitter. It's amazing. It is also Thursday again. And every Thursday is Bible Thumper Thursday.
The sign outside the New Era Baptist Church in Birmingham reads, "A black vote for Trump is mental illness."
I am the daughter of two pastors.
You will emerge from that as an atheist.
President Joe Biden is only the second Catholic president.
The Pope is like, if you don't... They call him the Holy Father. Ain't nothing holy about the Pope.
God, why? Why George, God?
Holy mackerel. I can't believe you people follow a man. What is this old world coming to? Bible Thumper Thursday. It's for everybody, but we do, a little more patient with the Bible Thumpers on Thursday. I do a lot of counseling, right? And so I've heard a lot of stories from men and women around the world. Some of the situations are different, but the cause of the situations are the same. The causes are the same. And this is what all kind of religious people too, different religion people, it is all the same. And I noticed that the world has changed in such a drastic way. And when I say the world, the people have changed in such a drastic way. But it's always been in the making, but we just didn't see it. But we knew something was going on, but not the depths of what's happening. I noticed that the way that men and women were taught to treat one another in the past has totally changed. It's not the same anymore. And because of that, the world is turned upside down, and it is a mess. It's a mess. And the men and women, boys and girls, are being taught in the wrong way. They're not being taught about love, real love. They're not being taught how to treat one another. They're not being taught how to live a life. They are not being taught how to, if they should get married, how and why and how to deal with that. And it's nothing but hell now. It's nothing but hell. Rarely, very rarely, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Can you find or run into or meet anyone that has perfect peace today? Whether it's a Bible thumper or non-Bible thumper, whether it's an intellectual or non-intellectual, it's rare now to run into anyone that has perfect peace. It is happening because there are men and women who are starting to hear how to receive perfect peace in life, and they are coming to that. But in the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men, and girls were girls and women were women, that was being taught in the homes by examples. And in the schools, too, by example. Remember in school when you used to say Mrs. Bullard or Mr. Roberts or yes, sir, or yes, ma'am? That's unheard of now. Remember when the teachers used to dress like adults in the schools and not like sluts and slut makers and like they were going to some sex party and all that crap and just wearing jeans they were not wearing jeans with holes in the pants. Matter of fact, they didn't wear jeans at all. When we were growing up, women didn't wear pants to school as teachers. Remember those good old days? Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. Remember when in churches, the people were not Bible thumpers? They in those generations, for the most part, exception to the rule, they live by examples. Remember when men knew that they were the salt of the earth and the light of the world, and so they led the way, not follow, but led, not follow. They would not follow a group. They were not doing those crazy things like that. They were individual thinkers. That's unheard of now. It's literally unheard of. And if you should mention it, most people are like, what are you talking about? I have to be a part of identify with a group. I have to have a bunch of friends. I have to have this and that. Otherwise, who will I be? They say. I am so grateful that I grew up in the time that I grew up. Otherwise, I wouldn't know the difference between then and now, and I'll be caught up with the crowd, acting like the crowd, and not myself. You know, I would be probably still living at home with mama. There are grown adult men past 18 years of age living at home with mama. And mama, in most cases, not all, but most cases have convinced them, you stay home, baby, they say, and save your money. saved money so that you can go and get your place or whatever they say, right? And you end up staying home until you're over 60 years old. Once I was 60 years old, my mama told me, boy, you better get yourself a wife or you gonna be lonely. When I was growing up, exceptions to the rule, but at 18, you got to go. We're teaching you to work. We're teaching you how to take care of yourself. They didn't even tell you got to go to college. That was a dumb idea, college. It was to get a job. Your career is a job. And especially if you had a trade. They would teach us from whatever age we can work until 18 how to take care of ourselves, especially the boys, because they would go and prepare life in case they wanted to start a family. And the girls wasn't pushed as much to leave home because they were waiting for their husbands, and the husband would come and get them. That's gone now. It's so not in existence now that for this generation and the generation after this and after that to hear it, it sounds like a foreign language. What are you talking about, they say? I would urge you to pull away from the crowd, become an individual, get to know yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to survive mentally and emotionally. You're not going to survive the things to come. The human heart is evil. The human heart is wicked. And the only way you're going to change the world, you got to change the hearts. It's not going to change until that happens. And that ain't happening anytime soon. But your heart can change, and you can have an amazing life in spite of all the hell that's going on around you. You can have perfect peace right here on earth. There is a God, and there is a devil. And everyone who has anger is of their father, the devil, and they have fear. They do not have perfect love. They're afraid of other people. They're afraid of themselves within. According to Matthew 5, this is Bible Thumping Thursday, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Where's the light? Where's the salt? There's no salt of the earth anymore. A few. Some are waking up and they're seeing it. There's no light in the world today, for the most part. Be honest with yourself, even if you don't say it out loud to anyone else, and you have a right not to. But be honest with yourself. Are you the light of the world, or are you the darkness of the world? Everyone who has anger, you are the darkness of the world. You're the darkness, and there is no light. And the way to know that you're the darkness of the world, check your anger and your fears. Everyone who has anger has fear, and you're the darkness of the earth. There's no light in darkness. And so, men, I had planned to get to this yesterday during Manhood Hour on Wednesday, but didn't get a chance to. Every day, I talk to men, young and old, of all races, that who does not know how to deal with women in a proper way. Women need you to deal with them in a proper way because you're the light of, supposed to be the light of the world, but even though you're the salt, you're blind and you're not the light, they look to you to be the light so they can follow. But because you're not the light, you're following them, following the darkness. And it's nothing but hell. Men are so miserable today because they're following a woman. And the way the mothers are treating them is mind-blowing. Do you know that mothers, not all, but most, if a guy is with a woman and they're either living together or married, and the mother and his woman, wife or living girlfriend, are having situations, tough times, the mother would join forces with the woman. The mother of the guy would join forces with his woman that he's having problem with if the guy's not listening to the mama. And even when he listened to her, she still joined forces with him. And especially if they have children, the mother was sneak behind the man's back. In some cases, she don't sneak, and work against him, her own son, to get glory for herself. So I want to give you some rules on how to deal with women in the proper way. And ladies, you cannot rely on a man to guide you now. They don't have it. So you're going to have to go straight to the Father too. And you can. By forgiving, getting to know yourself, forgiving your mothers and grandmothers in a lot of cases for turning away from your fathers, turn back to your fathers. And women, ladies, y'all can have perfect peace. And if you are married, and some women are, or living with a guy, and some women are, and you see that this guy is not overcoming anything he can't see, don't resent him so that you can go around him, through him, straight to the Father. But if you resent him for being weak, and all women do until they wake up, you're not going to be able to go to God, to the Father. So if you're already with a weak man, don't resent him. All right? Drop the anger. He can't help it just as you can't help it. The same thing your mother done to you, she did it to him. And most men are not working on overcoming being born of the spirit of the father. They're stuck in the spirit of the mother, which is evil. And it's not her spirit. It's not your spirit, ladies. It's the spirit of evil that was passed down through Eve when Satan became her god. And that's why the god of the woman is below and the god of the man is above. But you can return, ladies, to the God above. And man, you can return too, but you got to overcome the God of the woman. The woman is your God. Because Adam listened to the woman. Every time you listen to the woman, you will suffer. And men are suffering because they're listening to women. So what my producer laid out so amazingly, I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, what the? How to deal with women in the proper way. I would suggest that you write this down and pin it somewhere on the wall so you can remind yourself until you no longer need to remind yourself. But the Spirit of the Father will remind you of all things. We have a teacher within. When I think about some of the things that the Christian men and women believe, it's mind-blowing, but I understand it. I'm not judging them. I understand it. For an example, they believe that you have a free will, but yet they can't will themselves to have perfect peace. And they don't question, okay, if I have a free will, why don't I will myself not to be afraid again? Why don't I will myself to have perfect love? Why don't I will myself to overcome jealousy and envy and strife and loneliness and gossiping? If you had a free will, why don't you will yourself to do that? But you can't do it. So anyway, I want to get this out there, how to deal with women in a proper way. You can write this down, pin it on the wall or somewhere. As Matthew 5 says, you are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. There's an order to life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and if there are children, woman over children, but it's coming from above, not from below. Love comes from above, not from below. And there's no love because the light and the salt is not in operation in most people. 99 point whatever people. I see dead people. So how to deal with women in the proper way? Number one, men, don't live at home past 18 years of age. Don't live at home past 18 years of age. Go out, get a job, and deal with the issues of life. And in dealing with the issues of life, you will grow into manhood. The Spirit of the Father will cause you to grow in the spirit of the light by dealing with the issues of life. When I left home at 18 from Alabama, I didn't know what was going to happen in life. I didn't know, I had no idea, but I knew how to work because I had been by example and working all my life, and I didn't see work as a bad thing at all, but I knew how to work. And I knew as long as I could work, I'll have food and a place to live. And sometimes it wasn't the best places because the jobs were like, they were not like paying buku money, but it provided, and I was quite satisfied with that. Not even thinking about it being a bad situation. I remember once, and I mentioned this story before, when I moved to L.A., I lived in I had to stay in a motel for a minute. I had a job, but I had to stay in a motel. It was cheaper. And this motel had roaches everywhere. I'm pretty sure I had roaches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They were everywhere. But for some reason, I wasn't complaining about it. I just saw that, hey, there are roaches in this place.
What the?
And I was like in my early 20s. But I went to work every day. I paid my motel rent. And eventually I was able to move out. Just taking on situation after situation after situation. And not once did I cry for mama, or I was thinking, this is so hard, I gotta go back home. It looked like that may have crossed my mind once, I think, but it wasn't gonna happen. Don't live at home. Don't let your mama convince you that you need to stay home. Or even if you decide because you've been made to believe you need to go to college, which is another lie, they tell you go to college. If they have already convinced you need to go to college and you decide to go or you're already there, work your way through college. I went to LACC for 1 year because I wanted to get a white girl. I heard some of these different stories about white girls, and I wanted to get one. And they said you could get them in college. So I went to LACC, Los Angeles City College, for 1 year so I could get a white girl. Once I got it, I dropped out. But I still worked. Nobody was paying for that but me. So, guys, go and live your life. Get out from under mama's skirt tail, or you're going to be stuck there. Don't live at home after 18 years of age. Watch this from CNN and Fox. This is interesting.
How come you still live with your parents?
Rent is expensive.
And why do you think more young people like yourselves are staying at home longer?
They need to be able to save money to afford their own homes.
I think the reason why is, like, obviously it helps them save money.
Turns out a record number of young adults in the U.S. are still living at home. The U.S. Census Bureau shows nearly half of Gen Zers between the ages of 18 and 29 are still living with their parents. Numbers like this haven't been seen since the Great Depression in the 1940s.
I don't think it's just financial. I also think it's emotional. I think more young people, and that means young adults as well, up to 25, are feeling more emotionally fragile than ever before in history. One thing that I think is happening is that we're forcing kids to move very far away from us as a sign of success. We call it successful if they live far away when they're going to college and right after. And I think we need to redefine that, because I think some kids are capable of being independent in that way geographically, and then others need support for longer.
Why don't you just move out of your parents' house, like tomorrow?
I don't have the means to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
do you have a job?
No.
Wow. Man, that's not natural. I never thought I would live to hear men say, I'm staying home to save money, or apartment too expensive. It used to be the other way around, where women would be thinking that way. And any parent that is allowing you to stay home at that age, they don't love you. They hate you. They don't love you at all. How will you ever grow if you're not out lifting the weights, the situations of life? How? That man 30 years old and doesn't have a job. That would not have happened in the good old days. A mother's love will kill you, your spirit. And don't let them convince you of that, guys. You're going to see, if you're out working away from mama, away from home, you start dealing with life. It'll happen naturally. It's already in you to know how to deal with life. It's not going to happen under mama's skirt tail. And mama and the father who are weak in allowing this to happen, the fathers that are weak, they are destroying you. She is recreating you in her image, inside and out. That is not love, that's hate. How will the world last in a good way if men don't lead? 888-77-53773. A quick break. Back in a moment. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Okay, folks, welcome back. The Hake Report, Hake, Hake report.com. Today at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, from 9 to 11. And at 11, at 12, the American Anchor Baby show, the American Anchor Baby at 12 noon. Both the American Anchor Baby and Wow WW Hassan show was interesting yesterday. Podcasting both, you see, amazing. And tonight is the Men's Forum at 7 p.m. Pacific time. The Men's Forum at 7 p.m. I want to go through this list a little bit more about how to deal with women in a proper way. And Lord, no, it is needed. And once again, men, you have no business at all living at home past 18 years of age talking about, I'm saving money. Your mother convinced you of that. Life is more than just saving money. Life is living. It's living it. You have to, life is like a full living life. You need a change of mind. You need a change of mind. Your mind has been put in a way where you're thinking like children, like a child, and not a grown-up. Your body is a grown-up body somewhat, but you're thinking like a child. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways, living at home with mama. You're not a child. And don't let mama treat you like a child. Because she is using you to get a fake sense of life, to feel good about herself. And she still doesn't feel good about, I'm mom. This is mom. This is my baby. You're a grown man. And don't be afraid to face and forgive your mothers or grandmothers or both. Watch this from Perfect Teeth. Amazing.
Growing up, my mom was always very stern in the way that she raised me. As I got older, I started to challenge her more and more. One specific time that I was swimming in the pool out back, and my little brother and I did not want to get out. So my mom comes outside, she's like, boys, it's time to get out. She's like fully clothed. Daniel and I look at each other and we're like, no, we don't want to get out. So she started counting. She was like, boys, I told you to get out. I was like, no. And she was like, okay, 1. 3 came, and in our heads, it was like we were in the pool and she didn't want to just get wet. So we thought we were golden. I underestimated my mom. When I tell you, This woman jumped in the water fully clothed as if she was a lioness and I was her prey. It was terrifying. She jumped in and pulled us out by our hair. That's like one of her proudest moments as a mom too. Like, she still talks about it to this day. After that, I stopped really messing around with her though. You know, I started to take her words a little bit more seriously. Like, if she's willing to get fully wet just for me to get out of the pool, like, who even knows what she's gonna do when I'm not in a pool?
Wow. What an evil woman, right? She changed that boy's spirit to her spirit by making him angry at her. And once you become angry, you become like what you hate. That's pretty sad, you see that. That destruction is coming through mama. You must forgive her. And when you forgive her, God will forgive you. That's an awful story. And I'm sure she feels all proud of herself. Oh, I did the right thing. She messed him up. You can see it in his spirit. This is why you need fathers in the home, so that when it's time to punish the child, it comes from the father, not the mother. The father would do it with perfect love, unless he has not overcome his mother's spirit. But the mother is not going to punish or discipline the child with perfect love. The love she has is hate, evil, and it would destroy the children, boys and girls. It would do that. It would change your spirit from the light to the darkness. But the way to overcome that, you got to forgive them. Hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. You were evil, but I understand you can help it. Face and forgive. 1 Corinthians 16:13 says, be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. You got to be strong. And one of the ways of being strong amongst the many, stop spending your money on women. If you go out to dinner, you don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars for a dinner. And if she doesn't like it, tell her bye. Okay, bye. Stop buying her clothes and trips and paying her rent and her apartment and houses and all. She hates you for that. And you hate yourself for doing it. Be watchful. Stand firm. Act like men. Be strong. So number 3, don't spend your money on females. Watch this from Bando's TV. Amazing.
I bring a check. I'm paying for my meal and your meal. I'm not paying for your kids' meal. No.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not paying for their kids' meal. No.
So you don't think you owe me after having me wait an hour and a half?
I told you I owe you. I owe you when I take you out again.
And so you're gonna pay for my kids' food?
No, I'm not doing that.
Can you please go ahead and?
I'm not doing that. No. Hold up, beautiful. Hold on. Don't do that. But I'm saying, why would I get her kids food? Why would I get her kids some food? They with their daddy.
She was right here.
They daddy should be feeding them.
She was waiting.
You say you order a steak for your son? How old is he?
He 8.
He ain't eating steak. He eating the same thing I eat. Nah, hell no. I'm straight. I'm cool. Don't put that on my bill.
Give him
don't put that on me.
Make sure you put a side of A1 sauce as well. He paying for all of this today.
I'm not paying for all that. No, I'm not paying for all that.
Yes, you are.
She's trying to put a bill on me and to make my kids. I'm late to the date. She's trying to make me get some food for her and her kids.
What's wrong with that?
What you mean, what's wrong with that?
You late.
It's my first date. I ain't even met the kids yet.
You late.
I'm late. I gotta buy them steak. She said steak and 2 chicken tenders.
What's wrong with that?
Come on, y'all. Y'all ain't on my side. Ain't nobody on my side, man.
Wow. The moment that she started giving him attitude like that and telling him that, I would have said, you know what? I'm not paying for yours either. Bye. I'll pay for my meal and out. Go up front, pay for your meal, and be gone. You shouldn't let women talk to you like that. They're talking down on you. And they have no respect for you at all. How you going to tell a man to pay for somebody else's child meal? This is why you shouldn't be dating women who already have children or marrying them. It's nothing but trouble. I'm going to move a little faster. Speak up to women. Be honest, but not angry. Speak up to women. Be honest, but not angry. And don't tell women your problems. Don't tell women your problem. They can't handle it. It's not in them. Do not move into her apartment, house, town, state, and don't have sex with them out of wedlock. 1 Corinthians 7:2 says, each man should have sexual relationship with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. Each woman with her own husband. These things were talked about when we were growing up. They were being discussed, and then they were being lived for the most part. You don't see them anymore. You don't hear about them anymore. You don't see them, so the men and women are growing up dumb. Get a trade. Don't let them tell you, oh, you need to go to college. No, you don't. You need a job. There's so much you can do if you had a trade, a job. As long as you can work with your hands, you'll have food on your table. And don't compare yourself to someone else thinking, oh, I need to make a whole lot of money right away. No, you don't. Get a trade guy. There's so many trade jobs out there that are where they're looking for men. Proverbs 22:29 says, do you see the man skillful in his work? Do you see the man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Do you see the man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Get out there and have a life, guys, and deal with the issues of life. You'll look back and you'll be grateful. You will not believe what you have dealt with and were able to overcome because you became the light of the world, salt of the earth. You are of love. And for God's sake, don't sit in the passenger seat while the woman is driving. Even if it's her car, just say, you know what, I'll drive. I would have to think really, really hard to think about when I was growing up, when I ever saw men sitting in the woman's seat and the woman was driving. I've seen women drive, but the men were not in the car. What the? Man, I see it all the time now. The woman is driving and the man is sitting in the woman's seat, the passenger seat. And it seemed comfortable. And it's just weird. I want to yell beta from the car, my car. Don't sit in the passenger seat. Beta! Beta! Beta bell! While the woman is driving. Watch this from NBC.
Her actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder.
19-year-old Mackenzie Sharilla crying uncontrollably as the judge declared her guilty on multiple counts of murder in the deaths of her 20-year-old boyfriend Dominic Russo and his 19-year-old friend Davion Flanagan. She was convicted on all 12 charges she was facing, including those of felonious assault and aggravated vehicular homicide. The judge said Sharilla, who was 17 at the time of the crash, had morphed from a responsible driver with 2 passengers into, quote, literal hell on wheels down an obscure route that she had just visited a few days before, pushing the pedal to the floor, demanding an ultimate speed of 100 miles per hour.
The intent was obvious upon seeing that video that there was only one goal, and the computer demonstrated that there was no attempt to slow down or stop, that it was full speed into a building, and tragically it cost 2 people their lives.
The prosecution says Sharilla crashed the car in July 2022 to end her toxic and tumultuous relationship with Russo, and that Flanagan was just backseat cargo.
Amazing. You drive, man. Men, it's okay. It's okay to be a man. Women need you to drive. They hate weak men. You see what happened? That's just one example. So those are the 7 rules of how to deal with a woman in the proper way. And they will work if you do them. And these rules were lived and taught when I was growing up. My generation, for the most part. Exceptions to the rule. The world is going to hell in a handbasket because the men are weak. 888-7753-773. We got to turn the world back over to normal. God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman. Nothing else is going to work but that. Even if you are not married, men are over women in the right way. Johnny is out of South Dakota. Johnny, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Johnny.
How you doing? Okay.
All is well, sir.
Yeah, same here. But I think I know the answer, but I would need a little reinforcement from you. I called a year ago. It's been very interesting when my dog died, and you told me I was using it as a cover-up. And I made it too important, which is true. But since then, I go in and out. Sometimes I miss the dog still. And I saw the dog die in front of me, so the memory of it haunts me. And I think it's just the devil taunting me. I think it's the thought process. And I think the solution is just getting in the presence and watching it. But I just wanted a little reinforcement. I still miss it. I got emotional the other day and had a tear in my eye thinking of the dog, and I think of the dog still a year later. No. And I got to tell you, all your speeches on dogs and you talking about it the other day, it's been an interesting process because sometimes I miss the dogs, and then other times I'm more aware, and I see how stupid it is. Everybody caught up with these dogs.
What a mess, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you said something the other day, I forgot, and you said, sorry, Sean, and you were talking about dogs because we're like animals. And I work at a store where they buy dog food, and they spend so much money, and they're slaves to them. And sometimes I miss a dog, and sometimes I actually don't like dogs anymore because of what happened. It's kind of a in and out thing for me.
Talk about who let the dogs out. What the? That was Hassan with the dog, not Sean.
Yeah, Hassan. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, is that just the devil haunting me?
100%.
Emotions are from the
100%, Johnny. That is totally from evil. There is no way a year later you are grieving over a dog. You shouldn't even grieve over a dog for a minute, but definitely not a year later. You shouldn't even be grieving over if your mama or daddy had died a year later.
Yeah, I thought of that. It's the same thing. When you're missing something, it's emotional, and it's the thoughts are coming back into your head about it.
Yes. Let the thoughts pass. They're of the devil. They're not from you. They're not from God. And that's what the thoughts That's what they do. They remind you of the past, which doesn't exist, or of the future, which doesn't exist. Let that pass, and so that the emotion of it will pass as well.
See, I needed the reinforcement because I'm thinking, hey, the dog's gone. That's the past.
Yes.
See, I listen to you, and I know enough about that to know that. I mean, it's a past. But I just, anytime I still get, I think about playing with it, or I see pictures of it, and things we used to do, this and that. It's just a memory. It's just the past coming up.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
And if you don't be careful, what's going to happen is you'll go out and buy another dog, or somebody will give you a dog, and you'll make that dog your God. He'll replace that so-called loneliness and all that, and it'll just add to your problem. So I would be careful with that, because you'll replace it with another dog, and you'll still be miserable.
Okay, you told me when I talked to you, don't get another dog.
No,
not. Now listen, Jesse, I have thought about it, but like I said, I could. Huh?
See, that's what I'm telling you. Because you're thinking about it, and because you have this false sense of loss from another dog, you will end up getting another dog.
But I come in and out of it. Then I say, no way do I want to do that again. I mean, I come in and out. You know what I'm saying?
I do. If you want a dog for protection that you're going to leave outside in the yard to protect you, that's a different story. But not some dog that you're going to bring inside of your house for comfort.
No, that's what you told me last time, and then I think about getting one, and then I come, like I said, my awareness comes out, and I'm thinking, no, where do I want to do that stupid relationship again? You see, it comes in and out.
Yeah, I understand that, but you want to replace that false love with real love, which only comes from God, from above. Do not get another dog to go unconscious, because that's what will happen. And when that dog dies, you'll still be miserable, and you might not be able to handle it next time.
Wow.
You want to overcome the dog. You don't want to replace the dog with another dog. It's just a dog.
Well, you told me that a year ago.
Yeah. So let that go, man, so you can have a real life.
Yeah, and then when the memory or the thoughts of it or the emotions, just know it's Satan trying to torment me.
100%.
Okay, I got it.
100%.
I was pretty sure that Satan's just trying to get me and taunt me.
Yes.
Because I'm doing good in a lot of areas, and I don't think Satan wants to let me go, because I have eternal pain. I'm letting the ego die. And I'm doing good in a lot of others, and I think Satan's using this dog to try and keep me.
100%. Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, stay with that. Let those thoughts pass, and you'll be fine.
Okay, Jesse. I just needed you to freaking tell me what I already knew.
All right,
but
Johnny.
I just need. Okay, buddy. Thank you so much.
Okay, amazing. Wow, this hour's gone. 2 more hours to go. 2 more hours. Hake is coming with the Hake News. I'll be back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy. They're miserable. They have rough lives. They're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand. I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they will become it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Communist workers versus commie capitalist corporations. This, those union strikes. I have a little update on that, I guess. Invasion, the immigration mess going on down in Texas over these judges meddling in based Rhino Greg Abbott's floating barriers, the buoys, to block the illegals from crossing the Rio Grande illegally. Judge ordering him to remove it. It's ridiculous. Hurricane Lee is a storm coming in somewhere anyway, down in the Caribbean. And there's the manhunt in PA, I guess, is ongoing. This is the end of hour one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Thursday, September 7th, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour two. Jesse Lee will be right back to your calls. There is one line open. You can call in right now to get on hold, to get on air. 888-77-JESSE, 1-888-775-3773. Dial that number free via Skype from overseas. All right? You can do it. Nice. This is Hake News, not fake news. Call Me Nonsense Network CNN reports painfully long strikes have left Hollywood at a standstill. Oh, the horror. Not. With many in the entertainment industry wondering how long this period of uncertainty will last. More than 11,000 writers have been on strike since May 2nd. About 160,000 actors joined the picket lines July 14th. Negotiations are underway, but no resolution in sight. A growing number of artists in the industry pivoting their careers entirely. Wow. And the invasion. A federal judge. Deport these federal judges. Nah, maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should disavow that. Has ordered Texas to remove floating barriers aimed at deterring migrants, illegal invaders, really, illegal border crossers, in the Rio Grande, and barred the state from placing additional buoys on the river. The buoys have been a hot-button immigration issue and have been criticized by demon rats. I call them demon rats, Democrats, and the so-called Justice Department, the anti-white, anti-American Justice Department, anti-states' rights, as an unlawful security initiative, one that Mexico's president also called inhumane. Ignore Mexico's president. What does he know about humane? Anyway, meanwhile, the new data shows that at least 60,000 migrant children this year crossed the Darien Gap, a treacherous stretch of mountainous rainforest that connects South America and Central America. It is a crucial 66-mile hike used by so-called migrants hoping to reach the U.S. and Canada, and widely known as one of the most perilous walks on Earth. Almost 250,000 people, 250,000, made the crossing in 2023, fueled by economic and humanitarian disasters. What a mess. And Hurricane Lee, brewing in the Atlantic, expected to intensify rapidly as it approaches the Caribbean in coming days, or Caribbean if you prefer. Forecasts show it will likely become a major storm by early Friday. If it's a hurricane, it will be downgraded to a major storm, like it'll weaken into a major storm early Friday and could reach near Category 5 strength. Oh, Cat 5. Currently, it's a Category 1 hurricane or storm, whatever. Lee is packing maximum sustained winds of 80 miles an hour as it churned around 1,000 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. There is an increasing confidence that the center of the storm will pass to the north of Leeward Islands and the Virgin Islands in Puerto Rico. However, swells generated by Lee are likely to cause the life-threatening surf and rip current conditions in the region. So be aware of that. It's still too soon to know whether this storm system will impact the U.S. mainland directly. And that manhunt in PA continues for convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante, escaped the PA, Pennsylvania prison 8 days ago. Newly released surveillance footage showed the prisoner crab walking between two walls before climbing out of the camera's view. What a mess. So we'll see what happens. About 30 miles from Philadelphia. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. There is a line open at 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. What my biblical question is for this week: what is your state of mind? What is your state of mind? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show, jesseleepeterson.com/show. And you can also, if you're busy right now, doing whatever you're doing, laying out at the beach, or working out or whatever, anywhere in the world, you can listen to the show by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500, 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, Jesse Lee Peterson, on cozy.tv/JLP, cozy.tv/JLP, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, you got to go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. And you can also donate to Bond JLP on Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. It's Thursday. It's the second hour of the show today. Every Thursday is Bible Thumper Thursday.
Some of you, I don't know how you can stand there like this.
Why do Christians raise their hands during worship?
If you see people living in victory and joy just exudes from them, you know it's because something has happened down deep.
But I remember the first time I lifted my hands in church.
I remember the first time I ever lifted my hands in worship.
Psalm 63, verse 4, in your name I will lift my hands. And when you go in, lift your hands up and say, God, I surrender to you. You feel like you connect more with God simply because you're being obedient to what his word says.
One of the aspects of lifting our hands to the Lord, there's something really powerful that happens when we do that.
And we don't clap our hands because we're a spirit-filled church. We clap our hands because the Bible says to clap your hands, all you people. And it says, shouting to God with the voice of triumph. So let's just try this, everybody.
What a mess. Oh, clap your hands, all ye people. Shout unto God with the voice of triumph. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap your hands, all you people. What the? What? Bible Thumper. Amazing. If you did not hear the first hour, you can podcast it. I gave you how to gave men 7 steps of how to deal with women in the proper way. 7 amazing steps how to deal with women in the proper way. Check that out. All right, 888-7753-773. Let me go to Jeremiah out of California. Jeremiah, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Morning, Jesse. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
So I had a biblical type of question today.
Okay.
It was about a Bible, something in the Bible. I'm not sure because I haven't read it, but it was like Jesus was like hungry or something, and he was like walking, and he saw a fig tree. He was like, "Oh, I want some figs." So he went up but there was no figs there. So he was like, "What?" And then he said something like,
He was like, "What
he
the?"
didn't produce any fruit. Huh?
He was like, "What the?"
Yeah, he's like, "What the?" He's like, "Since you don't have any fruit for me, you're not going to bear fruit for like, I forgot, these like, a long time." And so I wonder, why did he do that? Or it was just like not, was it important, or what, like, why would he do that?
Why would he do what?
Why would he make the fig tree not produce fruit?
Oh, because the fig tree looked like it had figs on it, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And it had no life. And anyone that don't have life cannot bear fruits. And they, it was like what Nick just made that video. The preacher talking about lifting up hands and carrying on. They look like they know what they're talking about, but they don't. They bear no fruits.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think it like that.
If you notice, most churches today, all they're doing is Bible thumping, but they're not bearing any fruits at all. The people are not walking away with perfect peace. The people are not returning to the fathers. The people are not overcoming their anger. The people are not being made free because they're not being pointed back to the Father. And so the churches are bearing no fruits because the people are not getting better.
Mm-hmm.
The church, the church look pretty. It's a big old nice looking building, but it's dead.
Yeah, I totally agree. They just like I don't know, because I think if the people going to the church really wanted to be free, they would. Because I think God's he's so like loving that if you really truly want to know Him, I believe He would put a path for you, even if you're surrounded by people that didn't want to know Him.
Absolutely, He will. All who seek the Father, truly seeking Him, will find Him. Those who want to know Him will get to know Him. Those who are pretending will not get to know Him. And a lot of the churches are only leading the people emotionally, keeping them away from God, but not pointing the way back. You got to overcome the emotion stuff.
Yeah. I used to go to a church when I was little, and it was one of those Jehovah's Witness churches.
Oh, man.
And my mom would take me, man. And I was like really little, right? So I didn't really understand what was going on. And we would get there. It'd be my mom and her mom. And they would sit down, and it was like a bunch of seats, right? It was like a lot of seats. And then the guy would go up there, and he'd start like speaking really loud, and at that time I didn't understand like anything he was talking about. Like I had no clue. So I'd just go to sleep. Yeah.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, stay with it, man. Stay on that straight and narrow path. It only gets better, all right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you, Jeremiah. I appreciate it, buddy.
No problem.
All right. Amazing. Bible Thumper Thursday, 888-77-53773. Let me go to James out of Michigan. James, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Morning, Jesse.
Hey, James.
Hey, so I was watching the show with my wife last night. It's called 90 Day Fiancé. It's a trash show, but there was one of the people on there was a so-called woman, and I was looking at it, this thing, and it had a massive Adam's apple and a super deep voice. Now, I grew up, and I thought the scientific fact was that only men had Adam's apples. Isn't that what you learned?
Well, nowadays, because they're telling men that they can be women,
yeah,
it could be a man that you're looking at, thinking that.
Well, it is.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that's why I was asking. But you grew up learning that men had Adam's apples, right? And women don't?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I Googled it just to like refresh my memory. It's like, there's no way this is a woman because it's one of those ones that they're kind of hard to tell. But I Googled it, and Google was saying that, yes, women and trans women can have Adam's apple. So Google is changing the facts to provide the propaganda for new kids who might be looking up stuff like that. We're like, oh, yeah, women can have Adam's apples.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about in the first hour today, is that the world is turned upside down now, and they'll call it right, wrong, right, and the men are not leading the way, and as a result of not leading the way, the women are taking over, and all this stuff is coming, and the weak men are too weak to stop it, and it's going to get worse, James. They are changing the meaning of everything. They're using words to control you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to a breakfast with a local pastor, and it was just interesting the way that they're entranced by the Bible, these pastors are these days. They kept reading this passage over and over again because he asked me a question. He said, when you die, where are you going? I said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? And so he kept to say, you know where you're going.
Yeah, he didn't want you to accept your answer, huh?
Yeah, and I told them the truth. I let them say their piece, and then while they were talking, I could see what Satan was trying to do. He was trying to make me answer them.
Yeah.
So what I did is I folded my hands under the table, and I focused on my fingers, and I asked God to give me the words. And then when it was my time to speak, I saw myself, like I wasn't the one speaking. I was just sitting back inside of myself, and the words that needed to be said, God was giving me.
Oh, amazing. Nice,
yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Right on.
It was pretty great.
Neat, man. Stay with it, James. It gets better. It gets clearer and better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right,
You have a great day.
You too, man. Thank you. Things are changing, folks, and they are using words against you. There's one line open, 888-7753-773. I want to get to the Super Chats. I didn't get to some from yesterday and today. Super. Good morning, Super Chatters.
And good morning to you.
Good morning. What up?
Riley JM bought a coffee.
Did you hear the story where Johnny, a year later, still is tempted to cry over a dead dog?
Yeah. I remember that call because it was so funny.
Yeah, I remember it now, too.
I think he knows he's a funny guy, too.
It's an infamous call.
Yeah. That was like a year. That was a year ago because I remember I was out. It's taking like a...
Time flies.
Yeah. What do you think about him crying over a dog, Hassan?
I feel his pain.
You feel the pain? What do you mean?
No, I understand. I mean, like I was saying, the devil had me in an imagination thought a couple of days ago, and I was just thinking the idea of the thought of just one day, wow, I gotta... so yeah, it's...
One day you gotta what?
Well, I was hugging Sandy, and while I was hugging him, I was like, man, one day I'm gonna have to be hugging him like this and lying to him like, it'll be okay. And the doctor injected him, put her to sleep. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, the devil got me thinking about something that's not even real.
What the?
And I was so just distraught by the thought.
What?
I was just devastated by the thought.
He was distraught by the thought.
Of Sandy dying?
Yeah, of just like having to anyway.
And so you imagine yourself, you were holding the dog when you were thinking this way?
In the thought and in real life.
You were holding the dog in real life?
Yeah, he was hugging Mr. Sandman.
You were hugging the dog all up here?
But I wasn't hugging him because of the thought. We were just hanging out.
And then the thought crossed his mind about one day this dog is going to be on his deathbed. We're going to have to put him to sleep forever.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then you felt
I'm going to lie to him saying, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I was thinking about like being mama and being like, it's going to be okay.
What the?
Can you believe that?
Are you losing your mind?
I mean, it's a high probability.
So did you take him down to the dog pound and get rid of him right then?
I didn't, but
You were really into that dog.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. There's moments where, just like Johnny said, where I know that what you say is true, and I'm like, I don't even like dogs. Like, this whole thing is silly. But
yet you hold the dog and you're about to cry because the dog may die.
there's just moments where
And you're
you
going to have to tell the dog, it's going to be okay.
But it shows you that the devil doesn't care about, the thoughts are so tricky and how he'll use anything.
One thing for sure, thoughts are your enemy. They are evil. And you're right. They'll make you feel and think anything. And they drive you to make you do what you wouldn't do. I know you crying over a dog may die. What the?
Because I realize it's not even about the dog. It's about not being aware. So the devil will use anything. He'll use the dog. He'll use the woman. He'll use mama. He'll use anything.
Anything.
Yeah. So.
Amazing. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. Okay.
Riley JM bought a coffee yesterday.
Especially dogs.
Saying, my mom has called me honey and babe. I told her I am not her honey or babe.
Good.
I told her I don't want to be called that, but she still calls me those things anyways. I said that her husband is all those things for her. Should I keep reminding her every time she says those things?
Absolutely.
I've already told her plenty of times. She still calls me honey and babe. Weird and gross.
And tell her if she keep doing it, you're not going to hang around her anymore. Because she's disrespecting you. She is trying desperately to keep you from growing up for her own emotional pleasure. Just don't know. And if you don't stop and treat me in the way that I'm telling you to, I'm done with you. Be firm. Don't be angry. Amazing. Thank you.
JV the Great for the biblical question.
What is your state of mind? What is your state of mind?
I'm trying my best to keep a peaceful state of mind. I now understand that my thoughts are valueless. I understand that I have no identity. There's nothing that I'm trying to live up to, only the best version of myself. There's nothing stressing me, nor bringing me anger. So, for the most part, I'll say my state of mind is peaceful. I'm trying to maintain it, says JV the Great.
Amazing. Thank you for responding. I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. What is the best of, he said, although the best of myself? What's that?
He must be a Zoomer or one of those younger millennials who says, be the best version of yourself.
What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. It makes me shudder and want to spit. Two. No, but I appreciate you, JV the Great.
Yeah, JV, if you could explain to me what you mean by the best version of myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I would like to know. Let me know if you can. You can call me or whatever. And tell me, what does that mean?
Well, when I'm on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I try to be the best version of myself.
And what does that mean?
That means I put on a happy face, try to have a little bit of energy, and Hassan's laughing. And have a good attitude, or pretend to have a good attitude anyway. Hassan's laughing.
Shut up.
What a mess. Come on, man.
That's the best version of myself I can muster.
But how is that the best version of yourself?
Now I'm blushing. Because being all grumpy or in a funk, that's not a very good version of yourself.
Is that the
you want
worst?
to put your best foot forward.
Is that the worst version of yourself?
No, I don't know if it's the worst.
If there's a best, there has to be a worst.
I know, but I didn't say it's necessarily the worst because one never knows.
But you didn't say it. But you gave me an example of what the worst
of a worse, not the worst.
Okay.
A worse version.
So if there was no best, would there be a worse?
Right. If there were no best, I don't know. I guess we shouldn't be judging ourselves.
If there were no best, would there be a worse?
I suppose not.
And if there was no best and no worse, would there be anything you have to put on?
Right.
No, it was a question.
Oh. That's a good point.
I know what Hake said. I feel you.
You do?
Yeah.
Really? So you have a best and a worst too?
Well, sometimes, like...
It's hot in here.
Yeah, I mean... I understand, especially in the show business.
It's kind of like when your mom's yelling at you and then she answers the phone, hello.
Yeah.
So, Hassan, if there was no best, would there be a worse version of you?
Yeah, there could be a worse.
If there were no best, could there be a worse?
It could be.
If there was no worse, could there be a best?
No, I see what you're saying.
No,
Yeah.
that's the question.
No, there couldn't be if there was just, it just is. But I see what Hake's saying because, you know, it does get you in a way.
To put it, you have to, because you believe there's a worse.
That's true.
If there was no best or worse or best, would there be anything to put on?
That's true, but like yesterday when
that was a question.
Well, like, yeah, I agree.
No,
but
that was a question.
No.
No what?
No, there wouldn't be.
So then what are you doing?
Yeah, it's true. It's
no, that was a question.
I agree. It's performance at that point. But I understand what Hake's saying when it comes to like bringing energy and like trying to put on a good show.
If you didn't bring energy, would you already have energy?
No, sometimes you gotta muster it up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't have the natural energy?
I don't know. I'm not on Joel's level. Joel got full natural energy.
Joel Friday, he black. Check him out on Tuesdays. Joel Friday TV.
Maybe that's why some people find me annoying.
Why?
Because I have to put my best foot forward. Or be the best version of myself.
That must be a lot of work. Does it tire you out doing that?
Are you kidding me?
I'm exhausted from doing it, and if I don't get any caffeine or coffees, I'm gonna be the worst version of me, folks.
What a mess. Thank you.
All right, Evgeny Crosby with a diamond, a couple of diamonds actually. Barack Obama is in his office listening to Judy Garland's greatest hits. I disavow, he says. This is Somewhere Over the Rainbow gal, right?
I remember Judy Garland, but I don't remember her songs.
She was in Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay. Nice. Thank you. Amazing.
Justin Childers says, Jesse, did you hear that Mexico's 2 main presidential candidates are women? Question mark, exclamation mark.
No, I didn't, but it's over for Mexico if they win.
You think Mexicans are pouring into America now? Just wait until they have a woman president to run away from.
I'm telling you. What? What a mess.
Earlier last hour, I believe, Justin Childers bought a coffee asking, can you elaborate on that, Jesse? I was out at 18 and I planned to raise my son that way, but I'm not sure about my daughter. I raise her the same way as my son to be on her own at 18. If I raise her on the same way as my son to be on her own at 18, she may turn into one of those feminist types. Can girls stay at home past 18, okay?
If you raise your son with perfect love, you raise your daughter with perfect love, and she would love you and be close to you, and she would naturally do what a woman would do. It wouldn't be in a rebellion or trying to prove anything, but raise her with love and not hate, it'll work out just fine. Believe me. Because what turned the boys and girls away is they're being turned away from the father. But if she be close to you, she'll be fine. And come 18, she will see what to do, whether to stay home or leave. But if she left home, because nowadays it's hard for women to find men that can lead them, she would still have that love mentality. She wouldn't be rebelling against her own nature. It'll be fine. Treat your kids all the same with perfect love, and it'll be fine. Thank you. Amazing.
Someone bought 3 coffees. Jesse, I have to ask. I forgave my mother for imposing her will on me, but she had no clue what I was saying. Do I go back and forgive her again in a different way or move on?
No, move on. She does understand what you're saying. You said, I'm sorry for resenting you. She understands that. She just doesn't want to admit it. Do not go back. Move on with your life. Don't play with the devil. Don't argue with the devil. Don't play with the devil. Move on. Wish her well. Move on. It's for you anyway. It's not for her. It's to make you free to change your nature back from a to good nature rather than abnormal nature, which came from her. Move on. Amazing.
Mike Young bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse, when I heard that a January 6th protester got 22 years in prison, he wasn't even a January 6th protester. I was not surprised because this government and society is really trying to wipe out white Americans. And we all do know that this government wouldn't even try to give 22 years in prison to Black Lives Matter protester for burning down America because of guilt and fear over the original sin of slavery. Just a quick note, in their white guilt minds, it would be like slavery all over again by putting them, the blacks, in prison for burning down America back in 2020. Mike Young.
I just heard this story this morning from my producer about the censuses.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware of that, but what is happening to white people in their own countries is evil. It's pure evil. And the whites don't know how to deal with the evil because they have not overcome it within themselves, meaning they have not overcome that anger. If they overcome that anger, they would see how to deal with what's happening to them. They will have no fear. Amazing. Thank you, Mike.
And the guy, Enrique Tarrio, he's a black Hispanic.
Oh, yeah?
But he's a friend of the whites, I think.
Amazing.
So, same thing. Mr. Pink bought a coffee. To answer the biblical question,
what is your state of mind? What is your state of mind?
I have been working on not identifying as my thoughts, emotions, job, or whatever, and just surrendering to God's plan. So if anything, I would say my state of mind is at peace. Thanks to Jesse's wise words, Jesus' teachings, and the Word of God pointing out the truths in life. But likewise, the mind really doesn't need an identity, says Mr. Pink.
Amazing. I'll respond to that, the biblical question on Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Pink.
Yep.
Thank you.
Michelle bought 3 coffees. Thank you for all the great lessons! 3 exclamation marks. We cannot worry about the ways of the world. Our minds needs to be centered towards Jesus. And the pink flower emoji, smile.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Amazing. Yeah.
1L. And thank you, guys. I do believe that's all for now.
Thank you all. Amazing. 888-775-3773. Let me take some calls before we get to this break. Thank you, Hake. Let me go to D out of New York. D, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
All is well, D. Speak up a little bit.
Hi. I wanted to speak on what you was talking about in the beginning of the show in regards to men not leaving their homes by the age of 18.
Right.
So I was in a relationship for like 7 years too long. And the guy that I was dating, he was living at home with his mom when I, started dating him. And 7 years later, he's still living at home with his mom. And I remember we had like an argument of some sort, and he, I think it has something to do like a family member. He's like upset how like a family member or something like.
D, can you hold for a minute? Let me take a short break.
Sure.
All right, hold on for me. 888-775-3773. We're going to move calls when I come back, folks. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married, and the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good, or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Okay, folks, welcome back to Men's Forum tonight, first Thursday night of the month for men only at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Check out more information at rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com. And ladies, yours on the third Thursday night of the month. Get ready. These meetings are amazing. And they're Sunday morning for everybody and their mama. I do appreciate it. For personalized shout-outs, birthday shout-outs, weddings, anniversaries, encouragements, go to cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, and check out our merch at rebuildingtheman.com/store, rebuildingtheman.com/store. We have amazing mugs and T-shirts and hoodies, and all of your needs are met right there at rebuildingtheman.com/store. We even have a hoodie with the Great White Hope on it. Amazing. Let me go. There's a line open, 888-7753-773. Let me go back to D, who dated a guy who was still living at home at the age of 18. D, go ahead. Thanks for holding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not age 18. He's 51.
He was how old?
I was just. He's 51.
No,
now,
when you were dating him, he was still at home.
No. I was just saying that I wanted to bring up the conversation that he was having about men leaving.
Oh, okay.
At the age of 18.
All right,
but
go ahead.
No, he's 51 years old and he's still living at home with his mom.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was having he was talking to me about something with his family member, and he's very close to all his family or whatever, and he was getting emotional about saying that how one of his uncles or whatever wasn't calling him or giving him any time, and I was just like, well, he has a family, maybe he's busy, and I kind of mentioned, you should, start doing that. And then he just blew up on me, and, he said to me, you see, this is why I broke up with my last girlfriend, because, she told me that, I should see my mother at least once every 6 months. And I was like, wow. So it's sad how I really see it's like so many men are so they're blindly being manipulated by their mothers, and they don't even see it.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like, family is everything for me, and I'm like, so what am I? You know, what's the plan? You know, like it's like he just. So it's really sad, and it's very true. You know, if you don't get out, right away, you're just gonna get so lax and so comfortable. You're just never gonna leave. You are never going to leave, and that's proof right there. You know, this man is like 51 years old, and I tried. I tried. You know, and it wasn't working. You know, rather be with his mom.
A woman should never date a man that's living at home with mama, because if she date a guy that's 18 and over, and he's living at home with mama will always be an issue. And if she should marry that guy, his mother is going to always be an issue in the marriage. Why did you date a guy that you knew was living at home with his mother?
Well, Jesse, in the past, I mean, like other guys that I've dated in the past, it's almost impossible to not find a guy that's not living at home with their mom. You know, almost every guy that I dated in the past, and from going back 18 years ago, when I was 18,
right?
Every guy that I dated was living at home with their mom.
Wow!
And by the time I was 27 years old, I couldn't deal with the hell my mom was putting me through. So I did just leave my house. I was living in my car for a long time. You know, I was working though, and that's what I was just doing. I was working, living in my car. I had a gym membership. I would take a shower there. And I was doing that for a while until I was able to save enough money and get a condo. And here I am, like 25 years later, and I was able to do it. And there are these men they're still living at home with their mom.
And what were you?
Hard.
It's hard what?
It's hard to find someone to, date that's not living at home with their mom. Practically almost every guy that I meet, that's single, is still living at home with their mom.
Wow. And what does that feel like to you, knowing that these men are now living at home with their mama? What does that do for you, to you?
What does that do to me?
Yeah, meaning that, is it some form of a letdown as far as getting married, starting a family, or do you feel like you would never get a man because of that?
Well, the whole family thing is out the window. I'm already, I'm already almost 50 years old, so it's it's disappointing to see what has happened. How women have, destroyed their sons to the point where it's just, I don't know. And I have seen some women that do stay with that. And I look at myself, I said, I can't do that, because it's just constantly fighting and constantly arguing. Because it's just everything revolves around his mother. And it's just, I think at this point right now, at my age, I just gave up.
Had you wanted to be married and start a family?
When I got older, yes. Because again, when I was younger, I was living in my own hell. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was just dating different guys. I didn't care. But as I got older and I started to, see, with what you were speaking about, I forgave my mom, and I changed. And now it's kind of like I'm reverting back to like old traditional ways. Like I wish, I did wish I had a husband and, where I can raise this child and, stay at home. I wouldn't mind that at all. I really don't. All this, working and, being independent, it all went out the window. And now it's kind of like, all right, so I am close to 50. I am single. And now what?
So do you believe now that you're in your 50s that it's too late to have children, get married to have children?
Yeah.
Why you believe
also,
that?
because I have health issues.
But still, why do you believe that?
Because I have health issues.
I would encourage you to even though I hear you saying now you're in your 50s, you have some health issues, but I would recommend the idea of not getting married, having children. I would recommend you not think of it either way, because when you're not thinking of it either way, anything is possible.
Right.
But if you got this, because the world have taught women, well, you got to do it about a certain age, and when you get this age, you're not going to have children. And the women believe that, and because they believe it, it is happening to them. But if they overcome the world teaching mindset and just let life happen without any form of ideas or plans, then anything is possible. And just because somebody else couldn't do it, the other women who believe that way, they couldn't do it because of their belief, it doesn't mean that will happen to you.
Well, I don't really think about that. I just, it's more going down. It's more thinking about, well, you gotta find a man first, before you even have kids. So the kids part, I don't even think about. It's just,
right.
How can you meet somebody when, everywhere you look, got a man staying at home with their mom, and then they put the excuse saying that, well, my mom is sick, I got to take care of my mom and all this stuff, and
yeah, the mothers have set these guys up in ways that I never imagined it would happen.
Oh, I see it, and I saw so much in him, and I struggled to have patience with him and see what happens, but after 7 years, it's not. Because when I started dating him, he had just kind of like gotten out of a relationship with somebody, so he was living with her. So I didn't think that he was going to stay this long living at home with his mom, because he was living with his girlfriend. And, I didn't think he was going to stay with her that long. And, earlier on in the years, I was kind of like saying, get your own place, it'd be better for you, and it just never worked out. So.
Are you over him now?
Yeah, I guess the funny thing is what I was saying about how I forgave my mom and like how I changed. It's kind of like I just don't feel I don't feel love the way I was feeling love before, which is basically kind of like an anxious love, a butterfly in your stomach type of love, or like a possessive love, or a jealous kind of love. It's kind of like, an acceptance love,
Yeah.
It is what it is. If he wants to work it out, I have no problems with that. If you can't work it out, then, I'm not going to keep putting myself, in a situation where, he could probably drive me crazy, and I try not to let that happen. So at that point, I just okay, I need to separate myself and just move on and do what I got to do. I still have, I still care. I know I can't say love because, you're like, women don't have love, which at some point I kind of I agree with that, knowing myself how I was in the past. But right now, it's kind of it is what it is. Just,
and are you over him now?
I'm over him, yeah. I'm over him.
And why you sound like you're not over him?
Because I feel, I don't know, I just feel bad that men are going through this with their moms. It's sad. It's sad that men are going through this.
And so you feel sad for him?
A little, yeah. I do.
And what good is it doing you to feel sad for him?
I don't think about it. I mean, you're asking me this now, and I'm just like, okay, what do I think about it? And yeah, I feel a little sad about it. But am I thinking about it? No, I'm not. I'm pretty much moved on with my life and just living day by day.
And one mistake that women make with men nowadays that are living at home with their mothers and things like that, or don't have jobs, or can't drive anywhere, is that the women settle. And a woman should not settle for a man just to be with a man, because she's never going to be happy with that kind of a man. So if you don't settle, and if you don't look for one, just as with a man, God will add a woman unto him. Likewise, God will add the right man unto the woman if she didn't look for it. She should only seek what's right, the kingdom of God, and all things will be added. But if you look for it, you're going to end up with the wrong one, and it'll just be misery.
And I always thought about that when you say that. And I was like, well, God is going to add somebody on to me. But, how do you know? How do you know? When is that person? Anybody that comes into your life, you kind of think, well, is this the guy?
Can you speak a little clearer into your phone?
No, I was saying that when I thought about that, I think about you when you're saying that, God will add someone onto you, but I'm like, how would you know? Because in all honesty, there is a lot of things about him that was so different. That's why kind of we still kind of stayed as friends, because I know he's in hell, and he has a lot of, good things about him. And I know he's in hell. That's why I tolerated a lot of the things. And I'm hoping he kind of maybe will wake up like I did. But there are a lot of good things about him, and which is probably why I stayed so long with him,
But there's nothing good about him. Because if there was something good about him, he would not be living at home with mama.
So, but don't you think that maybe there could have been something there? I mean, I agree to an extent, but the fact that, had he not been living at home with his mom, you can kind of see the real him and what he can be. But he's just not being this way because he is under the spell of his mother.
Yeah, and because he's under the spell of his mother, there's nothing good about him at all. Because if he had anything that was good about him, he would be out living life and dealing with the issues in life and overcoming the fallen state. He'll be working on himself. He would not have submitted to his God, his mama.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got to run because of time. Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes, I have.
Are you doing it every morning, every night?
Yes, every morning, every night, and sometimes in the middle of the day.
Okay, and let those thoughts go about all this stuff. Don't hold on to any thoughts, and the light will shine through you, and you will see everything. It'll be mind-blowing for you. And if the right man is given to you, it will be no questions about it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jesse.
You're right. Call me again, D.
Yes, all right. Take care.
Okay. Ladies, stop settling for men living at home with mama. They're never going to make for a good husband. Let's see here. 888-7753-773. Sean is the first time call out of Michigan. Hey, Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, Jesse? How you doing?
All is well.
Amazing. Yeah, I love you guys, man. You guys have changed my life. Like, I've been a long time, you know, I do the air quotes Christian because, you know, I believed of God, but not in him and, you know, all that jazz. And, fell away, you know, from God and fallen state and all that. Found your content a few months ago and just, I mean, it's amazing. My mom passed away, but, you know, I forgave her.
Nice.
Forgave her in my heart. And, I held a lot of resentment towards my older brother, and I apologized to him for resenting him, and it changed my heart. And,
nice, man.
And then that caused me, you know, because like my dad was always he did what he could, you know, and I always knew that, so I never really had any resentment towards him, except for like one incident when I was a child, when my parents obviously were separated, but we went to go visit my mom, and then he kind of like dropped me off, and it's like, I'll be back, and never came back. Well, I kind of resented him for that, but I told him I was sorry for that, and I told him, you know, I know you couldn't help yourself, you know, you didn't know how to deal with the hell of my mom, and he's like, your mom was crazy. I always knew that, but yeah, like I said, man, you guys have just changed my life. Like, it was immediate. You know, I try to still myself 24/7, like throughout the entire day.
Nice.
Like when I first wake up, I'd bow my head and I'd gather myself, and even at night. But like I try to practice all day long.
Nice.
Like all day long, be with God. But
and eventually, if you stay with that, watching those thoughts, and all you need to do is just watch them and let them pass and stay present, eventually that will become the norm, because that is the natural and normal way of living. And it's unnatural and abnormal way of living when you live in your imagination, thinking about the past or the future. You're living into time, you're divided. And so you're overcoming the abnormal nature and you're returning to the normal nature, which is of God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny, too, because all my life, you know, I always, like, dwelled on the past. You know, I wish I could take things back, and then you dwell in the past and live in the imagination, and then as time goes by, you're
Sean, can you do me can you hold for me?
Yes, sir, of course.
Let me take a quick break. There is a line open at 888-7753. We're going to move more calls when I come back, folks. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, but the hate news. Back in a moment. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, You may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
Whole lot of mess going on in the world. Where's Hunter? I don't even care. Ukraine propaganda, your daily dose is coming in. Tom Brady has a new job. Oh, yeah, there's abortion is decriminalized in Mexico, according to the so-called country's Supreme Court. What a mess, huh? Terrible. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Bible Thumper Thursday, September 7th, 2023 AD. By the way, this is the first Thursday of the month, believe it or not. That means the Men's Forum is happening tonight, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. You can go to rebuildingtheman.com/events if you need more info for how to get over here to join the Men's Forum. Guys only, men only. The Women's Forum is our third Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. And you got to check just to make sure that we are indeed having them, but we generally do have them. Lately, we have not canceled too frequently. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Hake, of course, thehakereport.com. I'm live Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. And, of course, at noon Pacific time, American Anchor Baby. That's 2 Central, 3 Eastern. American Anchor Baby on YouTube and Rumble live. Always a fun show. Yesterday was Wow Hassan, and it was pretty fun. He interviewed this Jewish friend of his, and American Anchor Baby interviewed him for a couple of hours after that and took calls. Nice. Anyway, your daily dose of Ukraine propaganda coming in. The deadliest Russian missile attack in months killed at least 17 people, injured dozens at a market in the eastern town of Kostiantynivka. I butchered that. On Wednesday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the strike utter inhumanity. Stop the fighting then, right? Russian missile attacks have regularly hit civilian areas, but tolls this high are unusual. But a couple of higher tolled death body count incidents was the strike in an apartment block in central city of Uman, killed 23 people, including children, in April. And a similar strike in Dnipro in the southeast killed 40 in January. The area that was hit yesterday, is close to the front lines around Bakhmut, and frequently crowded with military personnel. Zelensky branded the Russian missile attack as the brazenness of wickedness and the audacity of evil. Maybe so, but back at you, in my opinion. Where's Hunter? A special counsel intends to seek an indictment against so-called President Sleepy Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, relating to leave Hunter alone. Related to gun charges by the end of the month. Gun charges. I thought we had our Second Amendment. The Injustice Department said that Wednesday. Hunter Biden's gun-related legal troubles are connected to a firearm he purchased October 2018. While buying a revolver in a Delaware gun shop, he lied on a federal form when he swore that he was not using nor addicted to any illegal drugs, even though he was struggling with crack cocaine addiction at the time of purchase. It's a federal crime to lie on that ATF form or to possess a firearm as a drug user. Wow. But yet they lie to us and they use drugs like crazy. Anyway, I could be wrong. Hunter Biden previously reached a deal involving a felony gun possession charge that would have allowed him to avoid prosecution. But after his plea deal to resolve 2 tax charges fell apart in court, the future of the gun deal has been in limbo. And Mexico is not following U.S.'s lead. Yesterday, the country's Supreme Court decriminalized abortion, killing the babies in the womb, right? Sometimes outside. The decision builds on a 2021 ruling that decriminalized abortion in the northern part of the predominantly Catholic country of Mexico. One caveat, abortion is still illegal in 20 Mexican states, so those states will reportedly need to revise their criminal codes. In the meantime, women in Mexico can still seek abortions in federal hospitals and clinics. News comes as the country's governing top party tapped a woman yesterday, former Mexico City Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum. Yes, Sheinbaum. as its presidential candidate, and the opposition party also picked a woman. So they're probably going to get a first ever female president. What a mess. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 3.
Somewhere in the world today, men have got to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53-773, 888-77-JESSE. Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week: what is your state of mind? What is your state of mind? And these questions are set up to encourage you to know yourself. If you want to be free, and free indeed, you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. Know thyself. It's amazing that everything you want, everything you need, everything you're looking for, life itself is inside of you. And it comes out when you live from within. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about this morning, this evening, this night, early in the morning, we are heard around the world, so in different time zones. You can podcast the show, and you can be listening while you're busy right now if you can't watch it live by calling the listen line on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500, 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, and cozy.tv, where Christ is King, cozy.tv/JLP. It's Thursday. It's the last hour of the show for today. It is Bible Thumper Thursday.
Now, one thing I know about the Lord, he ain't gonna let his name go down. If you stand for him, he gonna he gonna be there for you.
What the?
Come on, Cedric.
Many white people feel resentful when black people get ahead.
It's some sisters getting ready to clean up.
District Attorney Fonnie Willis indicted 19 mostly white co-conspirators.
That Fonnie Willis and Judge Tanya Chutkin, they some shooting up she-wrote.
Half the residents of Atlanta are black, and many election deniers don't believe that black voters are legitimate voters.
Privileged orange perspective of a tyrant criminal. Oh, I'll be watching that TV. I'll say, go, Fonnie.
What a mess. What a mess. Now you see why our world is turned upside down? Upside down and round. Men, it's time to become the light of the world, salt of the earth. You were ordained and created to bring love into the world, not hate. Love, but not hate. And not emotional love. Emotional love is not love. Emotional love is hate. That's why you have emotional love that feel like love, and then you have emotional hate that feel like hate. Because you gotta have, when you have one, you gotta have the other one. But if you have neither, you're free. You have real love. 888-7753-773. Let me go back to Sean. The first time I called out of Michigan, and Sean was talking about overcoming all that mess. Sean, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Yeah, not a problem. Like I said, I can sit here and talk to you for hours. I'm just making it short and get to my question because I'm sure other people want to talk to you as well. But I'll make sure to try to call some more. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys, and shout out to Hassan and Hake and Sean. You guys are amazing. But
thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'll get to my questions. And then, like I said, I'll call again. I want to get into, you guys have changed my life. I want to help out and give back and support. So I want to get into that. And but yeah, so I've started back get into. I listen to the Bible when I'm at work, when I'm not listening to you, of course. And I read, start reading my Bible again. And I had a couple questions that kind of just stuck out to me, like when God looked upon the earth and he saw what man had done or was going or whatever right before he flooded it, when he went to Noah, it said it grieved him. So I was just wondering about that. And then also in Exodus when it said he went to Moses, or was it was either the Sodom when he was going to destroy the town. Maybe that was Sodom and Gomorrah, but and he kept telling I don't know, maybe it wasn't Moses, but he kept telling them to go into the town, and he was like, well, what if there's 100 righteous people or whatever? And he's like, okay, if there's 100 righteous people, I won't burn it down. And he's like, okay, well, let me ask you again, God, what if there's 30 righteous people? I'm just kind of paraphrasing.
Right.
And he's like, okay, if there wasn't 30, or if there's 30 righteous people, then I won't burn it down. He's like, well, let me ask you again, God. And when they kept repeating, he's like, well, what if there's one righteous man? And it said I think it was Moses, but he said it stirred up an anger or kindled the fire of anger or something like that. And I was just curious about that. What is that? Am I reading too much into it, or? And
so your question is about
the emotions, it almost seems. Yes.
Okay. Well, when in the Old Testament, when all that was going on, mankind had no way out. They could not overcome evil, and they were all living in evil, right? Because they could not overcome it. Satan owned everyone.
Everything, yeah.
He owned, so mankind had no way to overcome evil of the heart. And so as a result, you had everything going on that could possibly be happening on earth that was bad. And God understood that they had no way out. So as a result of that, he had to, quote unquote, buy human beings back by sending his son. And his son died because his son was righteous. He was not a sinner, for the lack of better words. His heart was not evil. But God sent him so that Satan can take him into hell, and he deserved to go to hell. But Satan took him in because he had not done anything wrong. Christ had not done anything wrong. But God wanted that to happen so that he can make a way for us to overcome evil. So when Christ went in, he died. Innocent man died to buy back the guilty ones.
Right.
And so he cleansed us of everything. And in the New Testament, we are now free. We are free of all sins. We are free of everything except of the heart, where we must forgive, because anyone that has anger, they still have the nature of the devil, of evil. And that's why human beings commit evil all the time, because their hearts are wicked. But when he changed the heart, he's going to draw you back into the kingdom of heaven from within, and then you shall live. You have life.
Right on.
But he and when he grieved, it doesn't mean that he grieved emotionally in the way that human beings do in a fallen state. It's just
Right.
that
That's.
he was
I'm
able
sorry.
to see what evil, but he wasn't grieving about it like emotionally.
Like
It was
like bubbling or like crying like a baby.
right. It was.
I got you.
It was just discernment. It was understanding. It's the same
Right.
thing that's going to happen, and it's happening with you, Sean. If you stay on this path, you're going to see as you're overcoming the evil of the imagination. You're going to see it in others too, and you will see it, but you won't be feeling bad for them. You won't be emotional about it at all. You won't judge them because you know it's not them, but it's the spirit of evil that made a home in them, in their imagination.
Yeah, I noticed that about myself a few days ago. That I listen. Like I said, I listen to you all the time, and you talk about how you love everybody, and I try to like say I love everybody, but I know like deep down inside, it's just being so caught up in the world for so many years. When I see somebody, I'm like, oh man, like, oh, they look crazy, or oh man, what's that dude wearing? Like I'm just judging right off the bat.
Right.
And I find myself lately, even if I'm watching TV and I'm sitting there watching TV with my woman, and she just, oh, look at her, da 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 da, and I find myself just like, babe, like, don't be like that, like.
That's right.
And I've noticed lately, like when I see somebody, instead of like immediately like looking them up and down or what have you, I just see them for like another me. But yeah,
beautiful, man. So here's what I want. Here's what I want you to know is that when you see someone and they doing weird stuff or they dressing dresses or whatever going on, right? I want you to pay attention to those thoughts because it's not you that's judging them right away. It's not you at all. It's the thoughts that's doing it, but you think that is you. And if you just let those thoughts go, you will see now that your heart has changed from anger to love, you're not judging them at all because you can't judge when you have perfect love. But it's the thoughts that's doing it. It's not you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, because when it comes to like everything else throughout my entire day, anytime, like I have to be honest with you, like my head is clear, like for the most part.
Yes.
It's now music. Like I can keep the thoughts like on lockdown. Like thoughts hardly ever come, but now it's like because I love music, or I used to.
Yeah.
And now it's like I will have a song or music playing over and over and over and over in my head, and I'm like, I see it, I notice it, I pay attention to it, and it'll pass. But that's what clogs my head nowadays.
Okay, that's all you need to do because I like music too, and it's okay to like music. You just don't want to get a sense of identity from it, and so just seeing that the music is replaying itself over and over and over again in your head is all you need to do. Just see it. Don't try to make it not happen. Don't try to make it happen. Just see it, and it'll pass, and eventually you will come to order with that too, and you're going to be able to appreciate music in a remarkable way without identifying with it. And you're still going to enjoy it. You're going to sing, but you're not going to get a false identity. You won't use it to escape or to make yourself feel good, but you'll just enjoy it. Music is to be enjoyed, but not as a drug to get identity from it.
Right, feelings and stuff like that. I got you.
And when the music playing, you dance, you sing to it, and when it's over, it's over. It's done.
Right.
One other thing I want to tell you about judgment, the way that you would know if you're judging someone, or even yourself or any situation, you will feel something about it. You will get angry, or you feel good about it. And so when you're feeling something about it, that's what judgment is. But if you see it and you're not getting angry at the people for being the way what's going on, then you're not judging.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I don't get any feelings about it. I just like, man, I either have a thought or I'll just be like, I I try to do like, I'm sorry, but instead of like judging out loud, I'll just be like, what the? So I keep my tongue kind of on
Yeah,
a little
but
rap.
I do that too when I see men sitting in a car seat and the woman is driving and he's sitting on her side. I look over and I go, what the? And then I even say, beta. But I don't judge them. I don't feel anything about it. I understand it. And that's what is happening with you too. Just know though that those thoughts that come really fast about what you see, it's not you. Let that pass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, man. I love you guys. I want to thank you. I want to support, help out because you guys have changed my life tremendously. And yeah, it's still like you said. You ain't seen nothing yet. It just it every day it surprises me. Like quick example. Yesterday I was feeling tired at work, so I went to the break room, did a little silent prayer, just to kind of gather myself.
Yes.
And when I opened my eyes, it was weird. Like everything was so bright.
Yeah.
Like I had almost like a lens over my eyes for like. I was like, why is it so bright?
Yeah.
But
if you stay with it, man, your whole life going to be that way, and it's going to happen on its own. Just like in the past, you've been living in hell with thoughts and feelings. And it was controlling you. It was just things were just happening that was weird, right? Well, in the same way, the light will control you, and things will happen that is amazing, and it's going to blow your mind the way it works. It's just you will know the Father, and the Father will take care of you.
Yeah, I've been. I've like my whole life was like scared to take any kind of leaps or any kind of like jumps into like I wanted to go into the army way back because I'm born in the 80s, so I wanted to go in the army, but I got scared because I didn't want to like leave my family. I had that group mentality where I never wanted to like travel anywhere because I didn't want to leave my family and this and that, and I felt like I missed out on a lot of life. And nowadays I honestly truly want to just pack up a backpack and just disappear.
Yeah, I'm so glad that when I was growing up, that my parents and grandparents and no one made me feel like I didn't want to leave my family. It just because from hearing other people's stories over the years, they missed out on so much of life, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you leave home at 18, they prepare you for it. You leave home at 18, going through the 18 to 19 to 20 years, there's so much that happens in life that is absolutely amazing, and you miss out on it if you're not out there living your life. Life was made to live, not to be sitting around some stupid family trying to hold on to a fake idea that they all love you. It's insane.
Yeah, I was always kind of like, I was the middle child of three, and I was always kind of like the smart one. And so my mom always, used to try to put it in my head, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to make so much money when you get older, you're going to take care of your mama and this and that, so she never wanted me to leave.
It was all about her.
Yeah.
You're going to be a doctor so you can take care of mama. It's not about you at all.
Yeah.
What a mess. Well, stay with it, Sean. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Hey, and I wanted last thing. I've seen. I was watching a little bit of Larry Elder on the Breakfast Club, and you're right, man. Like Donald Trump, president, and Larry Elder, VP, and then the next could really turn this country around. That would be so awesome. Like Larry Elder. Have you seen the interview?
Yes, it would be a gift from God to have. Let Trump be president because Trump already know the insides. He know where all the bones are buried. And then Larry, under Trump, learning the inside and out, Larry become president after Trump. It'll be a gift from God, man.
Yeah, I've seen that interview on the Breakfast Club, and I was like, yes, Larry Elder is awesome because he's spot on. He's with the nuclear family and bringing the men back, and just everything is just spot on, and that's amazing.
It's amazing.
All right, I'll let you guys go. I'm sure people marbled.
All right, buddy.
I definitely want to. I've been wanting to call, but I figured I would do a Bible supper Thursday, get me like in the door. But
Nice. Call me
all
again.
right, Joe. For sure. Take care now.
All right, buddy. 888-775-3773. There's a line open now. Let me go to Michigan and talk to Riyadh out of Michigan. Riyadh, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse. It was great talking to you. I spoke to you Tuesday. You said that call back Thursday, and I'll give you a little bit of time because you have a lot to say.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I did respond on Tuesday regarding the state of mind. My response was that, to be alert, just like what St. Paul said, keep an armor on you at all times, for there's a war against Christ, But I do want to add a couple of things about today from the scripture regarding woman. In the scripture, in Surge 25:17, it clearly says a wicked woman will show in her appearance. I don't know if you know about this. It's Surge 25:17. In other words, when the woman is angry or she's really wicked, the appearance shows. It didn't say that about a man. It says that a woman, and I believe he's speaking about the radical feminism. And you kind of see the two different parties. You see one party, the way their expression, their face changes, and then the other party, you see how they're more peaceful, And so I don't know if you are aware of that one.
Well, in all honesty, it's not just the feminist liberal woman that is not at peace and she's wicked at heart. It's all women.
Right.
All of them until they're born again of the Father. It's the mothers in the home. If you've been listening, you've been hearing the stories of how the Christian mother and the non-Christian mother are destroying the children, turning them away from their fathers and things like that. The conservative women who have not overcome their anger is as wicked as the liberal woman who is not overcome.
Yes.
It's just that one is acting it out in one way, and then the other group are acting it out in a different way, but it's the same spirit.
Right. And in Genesis 3:15, right at the beginning, Christ actually, the Father, God, has condemned a woman for her deceiving her husband. Now, he clearly says that in 3:15 that he's talking to the serpent now. He says, you corrupted this woman, but there would be another woman, her and her offspring will crush your head and you will strike her heel. This is called the first introduction of the New Testament, which is Mary and Christ. And he says to the woman, because you deceived a man, you will have babies with, and I'm making it simple to understand, you'll have children with pain, and he'll have authority over you, a man, a husband. But see, the devil has to make God a liar, so he's elevating a woman and degrading a man. That's why you see early 1990s, and you really should bring this to attention to your in the future. You notice, like every time they propose, and I talk to a lot of young people, especially the men, I say to them, when you ask for a woman to go out and you give her a number, did you kneel down? He's like, no, of course not. I said, why is it that you have to kneel down to a woman? And when you propose, he said, well, that's the thing to do. No, it's not. It started in the early 90s. I said, notice the way you look. You look up. You look up, and the master now is looking down.
You're right. A man should not be kneeling to propose to a woman. He'll end up kneeling the rest of his life to that. And you're right. In the good old days, when boys were boys and men were men, when they proposed to the woman, they did not kneel to her because they kneel it down into her hell. They bring her out of hell, not go down there. But things have changed so bad, man, that and then the guys don't hear from a lot of the guys from the good old days. They're just hearing all this mess and lies that come from they want the men to be emotional. They want them to cry. They want them to act like women. They want them. And so they're not hearing what it was in the good old days.
Exactly. And that's not all, Jesse. And I give them a picture. I say, now look at yourself. And every time I spoke about that to them, they agree. They're like, wow, you're right.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. I said, I have a puppy. I'm standing on top of him, and I tell him to roll over, and I give him a treat.
Yeah.
Men today now, they're looking up to the master, and they're giving the ring, and they have to wait for the master to say, oh, so yes, I'll marry you. That's if she said yes. If she didn't say yes, now he looked like a fool in front of everybody because she could run away and said, not interested. That's not fair even for a woman to put her in that position either.
They're even taking a woman's last name nowadays.
Exactly.
Man. But listen, I got to run, man. I got so many people that want to talk. Will you call me again?
Well, I call you, but I would like you to invite me one day on your show because I have a lot to say.
All right. Well, thank you, man, but I got to run, buddy. Call me again. 888-7753-773. I understand everybody got a lot to say, but we got so many callers. And Super Chat. Super.
Chats.
Hey, Hake.
Hey. How you doing? Oh, we already asked that.
How are you?
Trying to be my best version of myself.
So I don't even understand that. Yeah, I do now that you and Hassan has explained it to me.
Okay.
But you ain't gonna never be the best version of yourself if you try.
That makes sense. Yep. Stan69 with a diamond. Stop clowning Hassan about his dog. Po boy, he nice. Meaning he's not saying Hassan stop clowning. He's saying you need to stop clowning on Hassan, making Hassan look like a clown or something.
Oh, because he crying over imaginary his dog dying?
Mm-hmm.
Imagining his dog dying and he holding the dog. Poor, and then they got to give you the shot that kill you. Right?
Right.
Shout out to Stan69.
It sounds like you're defying the Stan 69's request.
No, I am. That's insane. A grown man cried over the dog, imagining the dog died. Now you know it doesn't get any worse than that.
Shout out to Stan69, standing in solidarity.
See that? Thank you, Stan69.
Whoa, that's a communist buzzword, solidarity.
Thank you, sir.
On buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, the Growbot Company says, in answer to the biblical question,
what is your state of mind? What is your state of mind?
My mindset is crazy, which is why I don't listen to it. Walk in the light, my guy.
Nice. If everybody were to just stop believing thoughts right now and have no thoughts, we would have peace on earth just like that. It would just be peace on earth. It would be amazing, too. Amazing. Thank you.
JV the Great bought another coffee. He's the one, he said, to piggyback on the best version of myself statement.
Oh, he's the one that made that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm basically saying preventing the old, angry, deep-in thoughts, society-driven ways from reappearing, while remaining in the presence of peace and awareness and taking in the knowledge. It's like being consistent in the gym. Just because you see progress, that doesn't mean you can slack up or become inconsistent, he says.
Oh, okay. Repeat that.
Preventing the old, angry, deep-in thoughts, society-driven ways from reappearing, remaining in the presence of peace and awareness and taking in knowledge, like being consistent in the gym.
Uh-huh.
Just because you see progress doesn't mean you can slack up or become inconsistent.
Nice. Thank you. That's amazing. Now I understand.
Someone bought a coffee. Jesse.
Thank you.
When you were overcoming the spirit of the devil, did it ever blow your mind how nice the not you can sound when you know it's really the devil?
When I was overcoming the spirit of the devil?
Yeah.
Did it blow my mind how the not you can sound?
It can sound nice when it's really the devil.
When you, yeah.
Well, the not you can sound all nice.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely. It is the nice sounding person is wicked than the bad sounding person. Loudmouth. Well done. I do understand that. Thank you.
Riley JM, I have called my parents by their first name. They think it's weird. What do you all think? I think it's fine. I'm an adult and they're adults. Calling them by their first name is just an adult thing.
That's right. I used to call my mother by her first name, but I call my dad by his daddy.
Nice.
Father or daddy. But I understand, yeah. They want to be feeling good. That's why they want you to call them that.
Ramon Clark bought 100 coffees.
Thank you.
Ramon here from Tampa, Florida. Reverend Jesse, keep fighting for good. Please dedicate a show on discussing the fallen state of our public school systems.
I will. Amazing.
And thank you guys.
Let me take a break.
That's all for now.
Back in a moment. Thank you all. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. So quick announcement, folks. Quick. The Hake report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake, H-A-K-E report.com. And then at 12 noon Pacific time, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby. At 12 noon Pacific time. You don't want to miss that. And then at tonight at 7 p.m., the Men's Forum. Every first Thursday night for men only, and third Thursday for ladies only, Sunday morning, everybody. So come on out, guys. They'll be like amazing meetings, too. Man, both the men and the women forum. And I end up staying up late every time, but it's worth it. The fellowship is amazing, because in those meetings, no taping, no, you can't record it, you can't tape it, you can't be calling up anyone afterward. Oh, I heard this happened in the meeting. Or you can't even be gossiping about it, or you're not allowed to those meetings again if you do that. So it's so like open in that way. And then a brand new episode of The Fallen State tomorrow, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, at 12 noon. Brand new episode of The Fallen State. I had a talk with Dr. Etienne Graves. He's an author, pastor, and founder of MEMO Ministries. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
Until you come to the knowledge and salvation of Jesus Christ, you will be in a fallen state. So I think everybody should forgive their parents.
Did you tell your mother I forgive you?
I didn't say I was afraid. I'm not afraid at all.
You like having your mother's personality?
I'm not my mother or my father. I'm me. There's no such thing as racism. It is the spirit of division.
Your wife obey you?
Yes.
She obey you?
Just do what I tell her to do?
Yes.
I don't operate like that.
What the? How do you feel about Black Lives Matter?
It's ran by not just lesbians, but witches.
Amazing. That's The Fallen State tomorrow, Friday at 12 noon Pacific time. All right? And for personalized shout-outs, I do them for you at cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Cameo, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Hey, before I go back to the phone, there was a super chat you missed, you say?
Yeah, there's a super chat I'm not sure that I read, and also we have to open the treasure chest.
Oh, yeah, the treasure chest is now open on D-Live.
Nice.
Amazing.
Over on D Live, Cradle to Grave No Fear donated a diamond saying, "It's time to shed the bear name. Move out. Hail JLP." I don't know if I had read that one. That one had come in earlier.
What did it say?
It's time to shed the bear name. Move out. Hail JLP.
Move out, guys. Unfortunately, today your parents are not preparing you to leave home after 18 years of age. You may just have to go out and just go through it the hard way. But if you don't resent it, you'll be made perfect. It'll work out, all right? But don't. You heard the caller say that her ex-boyfriend is still living at home with mama in his 50s. I literally know men around the world who are living at home 60, 70. Some of them, their mothers have died and they can't function. They can't, even though mama's dead, she still controls them from the grave. They still can't function. The spirit of the woman is evil. It's just evil. Satan is the woman's God, but you can overcome evil by forgiving, all right? It's not you. It's the spirit that made a home in you. Thank you.
And shout out to the top contributors on D Live: Maverick Angel, Evgeny Crosby, Cradle to Grave No Fear, Stan 69, Bubs Love, Wrinkle Hands Bing Bong,
Hey, Bubs Love, what the?
Kid Combo 1.0, Fatty Watt, Noah's Ark Kansas, and Thule Bear. Appreciate you guys for the lemons and more.
That was thank you all very much. I do appreciate it.
Nice.
That was an interesting discussion with you and Big Bump the other day on the Hake Report.
Oh, right on. Which part do you think of? Can you think of what it was about?
Right now, all right. But I was liking it. Something he was saying about some issue. But it was interesting. Podcast it.
Nice.
It's been a few days, so I forgot.
That was Labor Day with Big Bump.
Yeah.
And Hake.
Amazing.
Nice, thanks.
Okay, let me go to Wanda out of California. Wanda, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Wanda.
It's Bible Thumper Thursday, so I
Bible
like to call
Thumper Thursday.
I wanted to call you because I've been watching you off and on. I first became aware of you when you used to be on TV on Newsmax.
Yes.
And we would
I
look
hosted
at
a
you
show at
because-
one time, folks, on Newsmax TV.
Yes, and it was very good. I have to say, it was very good. And one of the things that, two of the things that I really liked about your show, one, you were honest. You brought things to the light and just called people on, being stupid, doing things that are, And the other one, you were super funny. I told my aunt once about you, and she goes, "Is that black guy on TV that's real funny?" I said, "Yeah."
He black.
She goes, "Oh, and she said, "He's a mess." Okay.
What a mess.
She did like you. But what I wanted to call you about is your whole thing, you put down women and you say, don't judge. But the minute you see somebody, you'll call them a fat person or you call them this or that. And the other thing, because I'm trying to get myself in real fast.
Yeah, let me ask you
the
that.
religion. Sure.
Go ahead.
The other thing is the religion part, how people worship. It's not for you to judge on how they worship because your good friend, the smartest white man that you know, Bill, I would call him a Bible thumper because he quotes scripture, he's a minister, and you never call him out on memorizing scripture.
Okay.
Why is that?
So let's do the first one first. You said that I put down women?
Well, you talk about them all the time poorly.
Did you say I put down women?
They're all evil. Maybe I used the wrong choice there. They're all evil.
Oh, but you did say I put them down. Now you're changing the way you said that?
Jesse, I said maybe I didn't say it the way that I meant it. You say they're all evil.
Oh, okay. Am I wrong by that?
Yes, you are. All women are not evil.
How am I wrong by that? Why do you say they are not?
Well, let me ask you this. Are men evil?
No, answer that first, and then you can ask me a question. Why do you say, how am I wrong by that?
Because all women are not evil.
Why do you say that?
They are not.
Why do you say
Because I know women that are not evil. I'm not evil. You can have a different opinion, and you don't even know me, and you will say that. But I'm not.
Okay.
And I know other women that aren't.
So God
Just
say
my
that
personal experience.
God say that they are. Is he lying?
Where did God say that?
All must be born again of the Spirit of the Father.
Okay.
Every human being that's born of the woman must be born of the Father. Is he lying?
That doesn't make all women evil because some are born of the Father.
No, they're not. Those who are born of the Father, they overcome evil, but until that point, they're evil.
Well, then you're saying...
Is that true or not?
Then men have to be born of the Father also.
Is that
correct?
true or not? Until the
All
woman is born
people,
of the...
all human.
Until the
all
woman...
human.
Right. Until the woman is born of the... Wanda. Yeah, thank you. Until the woman is born of the Father, is she evil?
Of course.
I'm sorry?
I said yes.
And so why are you saying that I'm putting them down for saying that?
But you don't know the heart of every woman.
Why are you saying I'm putting them down for saying that? When you disagree...
Jesse, remember I said, Jesse, remember I corrected
you
that.
disagree, as God said, all are evil until they're born of the Father. So
Exactly.
So all women
and
are evil, right?
I corrected it.
Okay.
No, but what about if they're born again?
If they're born again, then they no longer have an evil heart because now they have the heart of the Father.
But you claim that on women and you don't even know them.
Do I have to know them to know that they're evil?
Okay. Okay, moving on to Bill.
No,
nobody can win
stay here.
arguments with
Do I
you.
have to know them to know that they're evil?
Personally, do you have to know them?
Do I have to?
Say
Do I
you
have to
can't just
know
walk
them?
by a woman.
Do I have to know them to know that they're evil?
You have to know of them or something about them. You can't just pass a woman on the street and say she's evil.
Yes,
you don't know anything about her.
You can know that.
If she's walking along the street and you don't know anything about her, how are you going to call her evil? But you don't call men evil.
And it's not her that's evil. It's that spirit in her because, the God, Satan is the woman's God. And so it's that spirit.
With the spirit.
It's that spirit of evil that's in her.
You don't know the spirit is in her. She might be of the Father.
But
you didn't have chance to talk to her. You didn't experience anything with her to call that.
But you're saying you're throwing out walking down the street, right?
I'm just saying women that you have no knowledge of them personally.
But no, all women are evil until they are born of the Father. That's just reality.
What are men?
I'm sorry?
What are men?
Good question.
Are they evil?
Men are evil too until they're born of the Father. But the evil spirit of a man is that of a woman, his mother.
Okay.
That makes sense?
All right. Not really, but I'll accept it.
Why does it? No, don't accept it if it doesn't make sense. Why doesn't that make sense to you?
You said all people are evil if they're born of a woman.
Right.
Okay. Until they accept the Father or start following God, right?
And when they are born again a second time of the Spirit, then they're no longer evil. The heart is no longer evil when they're truly born of the Spirit of God.
Okay, I'll go with that.
And so you agree then that the evil spirit of a man is that of the woman because it came from his mother?
Okay.
You agree with that?
Then all humans are evil until they're born again.
Do you agree with that?
I agree. All humans are evil until they're born again.
But do you agree that the evil spirit of the man is that of his mother?
What if she were born again?
Do you agree with that the evil spirit of the man is that of his mother?
What if she were born again and she's no longer evil? Because
I asked you the question about the men. We're talking about the men now. Do you agree that the evil spirit that the man has is that of his mother?
If she wasn't born again.
Do you agree that the evil spirit of the man is that of the woman, which is his mother?
Okay. I thought if you were born again, you didn't have that evil spirit.
Do you agree that the evil spirit of the man is that of his mother?
Why weren't you an attorney, Jesse? The jury would be confessing to the crime. They say, we give, Jesse, please, let's move on. Yes.
So do you agree that the evil spirit of the of the man is that of his mother, of a woman?
Okay, it is. Now, can we get to Bill?
I'm sorry?
Can we get to Bill?
No.
I said he quotes the Bible.
No, wait.
You don't
Hold
want
on.
to go
I'm
there.
going to Bill.
agree.
No, we going to Bill.
Okay.
You agree that the evil spirit of the woman, of the man, that the man has, is that of his mother?
Yeah. Okay.
How come is it hard to admit to that?
Nope.
Well, you seem to be
not.
stumbling with it a little bit there.
No, I'm not stumbling.
All right. And so
I'm talking to you.
with Bill Lockwood, right?
Yeah, I like him.
And you say that he is a Bible thumper?
Well, he quotes the Bible. He knows it very well. He's a very smart man. He knows a lot about a lot of.
Yeah, but Bill is not a Bible thumper. He is a doer of the word, and that's a difference.
Okay, but he does recite. He memorizes. He knows scripture.
Right, because he's real smart
But
that
you
way.
don't memorize it. Okay.
But he is a doer of the word. He's not just reading the Bible and not doing it. He's doing it.
Okay. So
but most
you know him
Bible thumpers are not doers. They just Bible thumpers, and then they go out and thump people with the Bible.
Okay, I got one other thing. In your chat room, you have, anytime somebody disagrees with you, I don't care what it is. It could be about whether you like chocolate milk or regular milk. Your chat little minions, because you're like a cult leader with these people, they will go crazy. I can just imagine when I go back and read what they're saying. They call me Wakanda, all kinds of stuff, and
You know
and
how
we're
to-
always evil.
Let me tell you
Yeah,
how
I
to deal
laugh.
with that. Let me tell you how to deal with it.
I laugh. I like it.
Forgive when people attack you like that. Forgive them. They know not what they do.
See, somebody called me crazy Wakanda. I like it.
Right,
It gives me a laugh.
but just don't resent it. All right.
Oh, no, I don't resent them. I just say that they always, no matter what the conversation is, they
Yeah.
act like a cult, and they just follow whatever you say.
Well, don't
and
judge
you're
them.
not always right. You're not always right.
I'm
Listen.
never wrong.
Oh, my God. Look,
Let me
Lord,
say
don't
this.
strike him with a lightning bolt, okay?
Let me say this because of time. Do you believe in the order of God?
Yes, I do.
God in Christ, Christ over man, man over woman.
Yes, I do.
Nice.
And women over children. After that, yes, I do.
Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate it.
I'll get back to you, Dick.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. 888-7753-773. Jason out of Missouri. Jason, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, what's up?
All is well, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I guess just a question. It was already kind of what you were talking about with Wanda. Just the mother-father thing. Identifying the mother as the exclusive source of the resentment is something that you say that I probably struggle with the most.
Okay.
I just, I feel like both parents are the source. You know, if both parents are evil, then we should have them both accountable, kind of thing.
Well, and your question for me is what?
Why do you focus on the mother as the source of evil?
Because it comes through her. Even a father that's angry, and you're right, there are many fathers who are angry, men who are angry because they have not overcome the spirit of their mother. And so they get with these, you know, with the woman, and you just have two devils together fighting one another. And the man is not able to protect his children because he has not overcome the spirit of his mother. So the woman is his God, and Satan is the woman's God. So he can't stand up to his God with perfect love because he has not overcome her.
Okay. I understand, but so the man is incapable of passing that motherly spirit on to their children?
Well, he would pass it on in that he would not be patient with his children. He would not be able to protect them, or he would be too motherly with the children. because the spirit of the evil working through the mother is now working through him, and he would treat the children in the way that a woman would treat the children.
Okay.
He would be saying, "Oh, I love you," all the time. He would spoil the kids. He would do what the woman would do. When I was growing up, I never heard my grandfather and once in a while my father tell me they love me, but I knew they did. I would hear it more from the woman than I would. And even back then, women didn't say that a lot either back then, but you just knew they loved you. It wasn't no question. There was no question about it in their action.
Yeah, I agree. People saying "I love you" and stuff.
When they say "I love you," they lying to you.
No, and they're trying to like force me to say it back. You know?
Right. And if you don't say it back, they get mad. Well, you ain't gonna say you love me.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it was all.
I need to stop. I need to stop saying it back. Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you only say it when you want to say it, but not due to any form of pressure of having to say it.
I understand. Yeah, if it's right or it's needed, I should say it. But
Yes.
most of the time it isn't.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I really agree with you on a lot of stuff. I think it's important you identify the evil within people, particularly in women. But just the idea of the woman being the source of the evil, I guess I still the answer you gave is it's interesting, but it doesn't sit right with me.
Why not?
Because I don't see why a man can't be a source of evil.
He can. I just told you because the same spirit in his mother is now working through him.
Yeah. So you're. Why isn't it not the spirit of his father?
Because his spirit of his father, if he has not overcome, is the spirit of his mother.
Okay.
And that's why men are closer to God than the woman, right? Because of the order when Eve listened to the serpent became her God. And that's who's working through the woman. It's not her natural nature, it's her abnormal natural nature, which is of the devil. And so the woman because the man listened to the woman became his God. And so that feminine spirit, which is anger and fake love and jealousy and strife and all that, that is the nature that is the abnormal nature that's working through the man that comes through the woman. Because the man listened to the woman. But once you are born again of the Father, then the woman is no longer your God. And once the woman is born again of the Father, the serpent is no longer her God.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I'm.
Why you don't want to? How will you go free if you don't accept reality?
Hey, I understand what you're saying.
No, that was
I'm
a
just
question.
Not.
That was a question. If you don't accept reality, how would you go overcome evil?
I do accept reality.
But so, what's the hard problem with it? Then you're having a hard time with it.
Well, just I don't follow the Adam and Eve story. I'm not sure on that, man.
Oh, I see.
So that's just the and I.
How do you think the woman became evil if it wasn't started with Eve?
They got a bunch of like hormones swimming around. I don't know. They like like if you put like estrogen in a guy, you know, that's like the woman hormone. If you put estrogen in a guy, he becomes more woman-like. He becomes like emotional and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it's their bodies that drive them crazy.
A body can't drive you crazy. A body is just a piece of dirt.
It is. But they don't know how to overcome that crazy from the body.
Right, because it's a spirit in the body. It's not the body itself. It's like you're not your body, right? It's the spirit that made a home in the body.
Okay. Well, I don't know. The body comes crazy, though, you know?
No, the body come great. It come as a piece of dirt, as a brand new house that you live in when you're first born. It's just a house. It's like a building, and it has it's just you live in there. That's it.
Okay.
It's
and then
hard to
the spirits
accept
come. I know what you're saying, but accepting it, you're right. It is hard to accept.
Yeah, I see that. It's hard to accept it as a metaphor until you can believe the garden incident.
Yep. The incident. What an incident, man.
I know. What a mess. But thank God for sending his son. It's all done.
Yeah.
It's over.
What?
It doesn't exist.
Okay.
Except in an illusion, imagination. But you know what, Jason? A very good call, man. Will you call me again about this and other stuff?
Yes.
All right.
I just one more question, please, real quick.
I can't because the computer's going to cut us off.
All right.
But
well, thank you very much, Jesse.
All right, buddy. I'm out of time, folks. The Hake Report is coming up now. Become your own man. Become your own woman. Go and forgive. Do the silent prayer. Watch those thoughts. That's it. That's the answer. I'll be back tomorrow. Open line Friday, if the Lord is willing and the creek to right. Jonathan from Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Andrew from New York. New Jersey. New Jersey. Sound like ice cream. I'll be back tomorrow. The Hake Report coming up now. And then the Anchor Baby at noon. Take care, folks.
So you get something went wrong, but check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. We got fighting to do. We gotta show 'em who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you, igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand in the lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa. You must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause you must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church.
Like my cousin sent me you, and
I thank him for that. It was more of a, he thinks the whole, like everything's a joke. That just adds a little spice to it. But in the heart of what you're saying, there is real things going on. And people want to overlook that. And I'm telling you, Mr. Peterson, I'm not one of those people. And I thank God that, he showed you to me. And sometimes we just need some Jesse in our lives, I guess.
I wish we had more brothers like you. We need more brothers like you. Just because we don't have most guys that can, lead black people into the right direction. And I thank you for that, because a lot of people will be like, man, it's still going on. It's racism. And I try to tell them, like, watch his show. Listen to this brother. He's telling the truth.
Take no thought about tomorrow. Yesterday doesn't exist. And you're going to see, man, God is with us and all is well.
Thank you, Jay.